Did you ever say something, and even as the words were coming out of your mouth, you knew you shouldn't say it, but it was too late? Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you about a time that happened to me. But first, I have to tell you a different story. I had left work with the intention of going to Marshall Fields on my way home. For those of you not from Chicago, Marshall Fields is the greatest department store ever, or it was until Macy's bought them. I took this route home every day past Marshall Fields, but on this day, I got on the subway going the wrong direction. I eventually realized my mistake and got off the train. By this time, I was at the Illinois Medical Corridor. Not a big deal. I just had to walk to the other side of the platform and wait for the train going back the other direction. But the train was delayed. As I waited, I realized I wasn't going to have time to go to Marshall Fields. And as I continued to wait, I started to worry that maybe I would be late for my rehearsal. I walked to the edge of the platform and I looked. No train. I stepped back. And then I did it again. And again and again and again. I did it so often, some guy came over and asked me what I was so nervous about. We started talking. I found out he lived not far from me. He was single and a doctor. And he was Jewish. We started dating. During the time we were going out, I learned more about him. I heard about his job, about his family, mostly his parents, and about his ex-wife. We dated for about 3 weeks. I kept telling myself, he's a Jewish doctor, your mother would be happy. But my mother's happiness counts for only so much. And 3 weeks of him was all I could tolerate. Actually, 3 weeks of him was more than I could tolerate. Now let's fast forward 20 years. I was contemplating a career change. The first step was to take a course to become an emergency medical technician. A friend of mine who was an EMT recommended the course at Weiss Hospital. I called, and I was connected to the voicemail of the woman in charge of the program. I left a message. She called me back and left a message on my answering machine. I called her back and left a message. She called me back and left a message. I called her back, and we connected. She gave me all the information I needed. But I realized, even with all these messages back and forth and this conversation, I still didn't know her name. As I was getting ready to hang up, I said, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." She told me her name. I thought I heard her clearly. I thought I heard her correctly. I said, "Oh, Judy." She said, "No, my sister is Judy. My name is Trudy." Judy and Trudy? What are the odds? I said, "Oh, you're the ice skater." She said, "Yes." I could hear the surprise in her voice. She had retired from ice skating many years before, and I'm sure she was shocked that anybody remembered her. If I had stopped there, everything would have been fine. But no, I had to keep on going, and I said, "I dated your ex-husband." What followed is what is commonly called a pregnant pause. Dead silence. At last, she spoke. "I was never married." I mentioned the name of that doctor. "I had that marriage annulled," she said. "I can't believe he told you about it." Well, it was a long time ago. Despite the rocky start, I passed the course with flying colors. I never did work as an EMT, and I decided against that career change. I would like to say, however, that thanks to that incident, I learned to think before I speak. I'd like to say that, but I'd be lying. I still have a tendency to blurt out whatever comes into my mind before my brain goes into gear. It's not a nice trait. It's not something I'm proud of. But try as I might, I remain what you see before you, a woman who just can't learn to shut her mouth. Madam Toastmaster.